Well, the birds are out. The sun is breaking through the clouds. And we're about to jump into some cards for our weekly AstroTarot, Wednesday AstroTarot, I should say. I'm usually creating 2 of these a week. Sometimes that may shift from day to day depending on if I'm teaching or have a huge deadline right in front of me. But usually they come out on Wednesdays or Saturdays. Now, I would guess by now that you are all sensing the theme of your eclipse phase. We've had some big shifts, and we're about to go through some more. Depending on where Taurus is in your natal chart, you're going to see a lot of expansion and a lot of change. And that's because we have some really big players going into that realm of the sky. Now, our opening card, coincidentally enough, is the sun. And the sun is a really beneficial card. When we consider the energy of the sun, right? Like, it's been snowing here and raining for the last couple of days, and we can feel the energy of the sun. We see birds start to come out and sing, and snakes start, dancing through the grass and sunning themselves in this warmth of the sun. So there's a big shift and a big change right now because the sun just moved into the sign of Taurus. And Taurus is a really grounded, fixed earth sign. And the sun just moved there. So we're seeing a lot of things grow and break ground, right? With this energetic integration between the sun and the element of Taurus. Now, this is allowing us to see certain parts of ourselves. If it's been a hard winter for you, maybe there's been some things that have been revealed. Now, considering that right now we have the North Node pretty much in conjunction with the sun and the North Node are just 1 degree apart. And in a lot of ways, I feel like we're starting to see things a little bit more clearly. Now, Taurus as a sign, right? We all have Taurus in our natal chart. So it doesn't matter if you were born during this time period right now. You still have some area of your life that is governed by the sign of Taurus, because the horoscope is a circular wheel with 12 little slices in it, each one of them representing a zodiac sign. And so you get this imprint on you, just like I did, at the exact moment that you were born, and it places the house system in your natal chart. So each of those houses represent a different area of your life, whether it's your area of your career or your area of home or your area of work or your area of health. And so that's the area, quite literally, the house that you have Taurus in right now, or in your natal chart. That's the area right now that is being greatly influenced and is having this stirring of energy. Now, our challenge that came in today is the Two of Wands. The Two of Wands is an energetic of someone who is feeling the call of the wild. You see this person who's looking out over this balcony with, this little sphere in their hand and their wand in their other hand. And it's as if they're looking out into this dominion space to see what they want to do and where they want to put their energy and effort. But it's a 2. So, when we have a single wand, we have one direction. But when we have 2 wands, there is this kind of pull in an opposite direction. And in a lot of ways, some reflection on what it is that we still have to do that's preventing us from moving with our full energy toward that which we are trying to move toward. So that's our challenge today. That's our friction. And in a lot of ways, it's calling us to task to say, okay, just get done with the thing that's bolted to the wall so that you have the freedom to move forward in the direction that you feel really called to move toward. Now, an interesting thing about our cards today, the way that came through as the way we're going to get through the challenge, is the 8 of Swords. So we see this person who is literally bound by some cloth, also blindfolded, and surrounded by these 8 swords on a coastal area right next to, the ocean. And behind them is sun breaking through the clouds, much like the sun is breaking through the clouds right now. And so we may feel, you know, a sense of limitation that is outside of our control. And in a lot of ways, it's telling us to not waste our energy and our effort, because there's some aspect of timing that is still on the table that we need to consider in the context of what we're working with. And like, we don't know all the factors, we don't know all the information. There's still a lot that is coming in. And so we have to be guarded, right, with how much certainty we put on the mind, and how much we feel limited by our circumstances, because things are going to change. Now, the ultimate outcome, hence things are going to change. We have the Fool, and if you've been watching my videos, this card has been showing up quite a bit, and it represents the planet of Uranus. Uranus is the biggest player up in Taurus right now that has been creating a lot of change in outworn conditions that have prevented us from progressing. And it's been working over our belief system. It's been working over our resources. It's been working over our values. And as much as we want to shake our fist at the sky and say, Uranus, we really have to accept that there is some riddle that's being played out here. And considering that we have Uranus in Taurus, we also have the sun that just moved into Taurus. We have Mercury that just went retrograde a couple of degrees from Taurus, and it's going to retrograde back to the North Node, which is where the sun is right now. It's like right on top of the North Node. There's this energetic dance that's happening with the celestial bodies that are, in a lot of ways, like setting the stage for a big fire of change, and a big friction that will cause us to move in a direction that's ultimately beneficial, because we're also about to have Jupiter move into Taurus. So consider that. Okay, Uranus has been in Taurus for, well, since about 2019, right? So it's been creating all of this change in this area of our lives. Now, Jupiter is also a really slow moving planet. So whereas Uranus takes 84 years to move around the whole horoscope, it takes Jupiter 12 years to move around the whole horoscope. So roughly about a year in each sign. So for the last 4 years that Uranus has been in Taurus, Jupiter has been in other signs, right? And so now Jupiter, the planet of expansion, is going to be moving into Taurus. And it's going to be moving into Taurus around the 15th of May. And also right around the time that Mercury comes out of retrograde and will be right on top of the North Node. So at that point, we'll have Jupiter, the North Node, and Mercury all kind of in a clump. And then they're going to be moving forward along with the sun and along with Uranus. So there's this big gathering in the area of Taurus. So now let's look at this a little bit more, because the ultimate outcome came through as this big change, but it was clarified by the King of Cups and further clarified by the Page of Pentacles. So these are two additional energies, speaking of zodiac signs. Scorpio, by way of the fixed cup, or, you know, King of Cups, or fixed water. And then the Page of Pentacles is a Virgo energy. So there's a lot going on underneath the surface that we're working with. And the Virgo energy is really asking us to have some kind of discernment with what we give power to, and also allow information to come in and really assimilate that information and separate, you know, what's useful from what is not useful. And that way we can really work with what we have left over and move our energy toward that. Now, Virgo energy is also an energetic that's reminding us to look at our day-to-day affairs and our routines and our preventative health, and situations that revolve around us taking care of ourselves. And we have Ceres over in Virgo right now as well. And when you consider that, Virgo is an earth sign. And we have all of these planets up in Taurus, which is also an earth sign. There is this assistance that is coming into play by way of this trine energy. And I just want to remind you to make the most of it, right? Because we can put our energy or our attention on things that are out of our control and feel really overwhelmed by it. Or we can put our attention on our day-to-day affairs and focusing on what's actually in alignment with what we want to move toward. And that will give us a better sense of grounding and direction through all of this change.